And we move on to a 6-man tag match of Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Tomoaki Honma versus I guess it's a Chaos Hontai mix versus Chaos's Hirooki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshi-Hashi. So it's just an odd match to me. I know it because this happened on the 5th, and then the 6th they were doing a tag team title match between Tanahashi and Okada versus Bushimon. But I don't like seeing the essentially two factions fight each other. The two people, or most guys the same faction, fight each other. It's just weird.
There's a lot of potential for a lot of fun things that they can do in there, because it's not just the story of I don't like you, you don't like me, we're going to fight, or there's a title and we're going to fight. It has the opportunity to create different stories or just provide some great wrestling.
It is. Like, I'll say this. My highlights in this match were Ishii and Honma. Like, those, like, Honma, dude has had a broken freaking neck, if you go with some Kurt Angle parlance there. And just, he weirdly moves stiff. The way he moves, and the way he turns, the way he does everything. It's so stiff, but it flows so nicely in how stiff it is. It doesn't seem wrong. You know what I mean? With most people, you see them moving stiff like that, you're like, oh, they're like not sure about themselves. Where Honma, it's almost like he moves stiff for his flow. It's how it works. I absolutely love him, man.
And his voice is so awesome.
Okada catching Yoshi-Hashi, it comes in and he flips him up, and then like Yoshi-Hashi looks like he's gonna try and flip over the ropes, but Okada just pulls him into that air raid crash neck breaker. Mwah. Oh,
that's why he's the champion.
Good. So good. In the end, though, Ishii reverses a suplex by Honma, hits the vertical drop brainbuster, and gets the win. Again, absolutely fun match. And again, my highlights were Ishii and Honma. Both these guys, just the way they work, the way they're them fighting each other, like just smacking the crap out of each other, so good.
And what adds to the charm of Honma is definitely, as I mentioned, that voice. He's had that crushed voice box, so he's kind of got that raspy kind of thing. So he doesn't like scream like normal. He does. It's a little intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. But then you look at how adorable he is. You can't be intimidated by it. I'm really sorry. I'm not scared of Honma. But I gotta say, best build of all of these guys in the ring is Honma. You can tell how much he works on himself and how much pride he takes in his look, not just by how like jacked he is, but like how tan he is. He wants you to see everything, and he shows off everything, and it makes me happy to see, because again, as you mentioned, we know he's so stiff. He's not going to find himself, I think, in any kind of championship bout legitimately for the remainder of his career. But he is such a joy to have around and to see wrestle that I feel like he should be in those matches, even if he is losing, just to have those good freaking matches, because we know that he can. Yeah. That's all I got to say about this one.
Again,
you're absolutely right. Those two were the more highlighted ones in this one, and it made sense that they would be in the deciding finish because they had the least amount to lose in this.
Really, it's very true. But we move on to the 7 main event of the evening. It is El Phantasmo taking on Tetsuya and Naito. I found the first part of this match was Naito just screwing with ELP's head and like doing the Adam like Naito did the bounce of the rope into his pose, but then just laid on the mat going, just being a dick, and you can see it in ELP come in and just start stomping the crap out of Naito. Then he'd leave him, and then Naito would just start doing it again. So ELP would come back and just start stomping him. Then he'd come back and then do it again. Then it's over and over. They kept doing it. It was just, I love the way Naito is such a dick without being a heel, without being a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. He's just like, I know how to screw with you. I'm going to screw with you. Like it's just everything these guys did. There's a spot where ELP comes like they're fighting on the outside. The ELP goes onto the stage and then leaps across the open spot on the floor over the from the raised stage where the fans are sitting over the barricade onto Naito. Look, like I'm just like, oh, dude, if he would have come up a little short, he could have really hurt himself. If he had like caught the guardrail, I would have just wrecked him. To have the confidence in that ability is awesome. And then he hits a beautiful moonsault off the top to Naito on the floor. Ooh, so good. And then he goes over to a kid that he almost threw the hat. He was wearing a Naito hat during his entrance. And he goes over and he gets the kid to too sweet him. The kid with the Naito hat too sweets ELP. I'm like, that's just absolutely perfection.
I mean, and what an FU, right?
Pretty much. ELP reversing the Destino into that tombstone lung blower that Taichi Shimori does. Like, yeah, and then it applies a yes lock that is literally called the yes lock by Chris Charlton, otherwise known as the LaBelle lock in AEW by Dana Bryan. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal match. ELP hitting that Thunder Kiss 86, but he's holding his gut after, and then he gets the pin, but he doesn't get the win here. It's very much like would he have gotten it if he didn't wait so long to get on top?
Immediate follow up, yeah.
Naito turning that ELP powerbomb attempt into a DDT, then hitting that running Destino. But ELP kicking out a 2.0. Because when Kevin Kelly yelled Destino and he was holding the no, I'm like, oh, it's over. And the ELP kicking out, I'm like, what?
And then you get a no.
Yeah, Kevin Kelly's no as well. And then ELP reverses another Destino, hits the sudden death. Or into sudden death, but Naito catches like an arm trap roll up and just steals a win here.
I honestly, I was expecting ELP to win this one.
Me too.
Like, as big as a fan as I am of Tetsuya Naito and the potential that this could be the wind down of his career now that he's getting up into that age, I was actually kind of expecting the new young up and comer to kind of take over. I know the irony of what I just
39 years old or something like that. 38 or 30. He's only
but he's just finally starting to get the career that he's been working for in New Japan. So arguably his career is young in New Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the heavyweight division anyway. Very, very fresh. I definitely did feel the same way. I definitely felt that Naito kind of stole this one from ELP because, as I said, I did expect him to kind of take this, especially given the run that Shingo and ELP just had. Arguably, I'd almost say Shingo is a little bit stronger than Tetsuya Naito in regards to just physicality and looking at the history. I mean, Naito is an established champion, but Shingo has been a champion more recently. And a higher level champion recently than Naito, and now he's currently holding that KOPW atrociousness.
It's better than the trophy. It's better than the stupid ass trophy.
It is, and I like the color baby blue. I just don't think that it is a color that should be on that title. I think the title itself would look better if it was more if the strap was the color of the TV title, like that kind of like brownish goldy color. It would look better if it was the same design. Yes, it would look better than the baby blue.
It would look better than the TV title, but it still wouldn't look good. It would look better than baby blue, but it still would look like shit because that belt color is terrible. Just like
the belt color is terrible, but that's why I'm saying change the color of the belt. Like, leave the plates the way they are. I don't mind the plates, but if you change the baby blue, like just select the blue and turn it to like a tan or like a khaki color, it would be a lot better. It would make the gold pop a little bit more, but also not just look so silly. And like the blue also brings attention to the Velcro.
Just remember, it's a shout out to 80s Hogan, who had who had the blue title for a while.
Who likes Hulk Hogan nowadays? Come on.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it is. We move on to the main event. Another first round match. It's Taichi with his faction against Sanada. So my comment, just for guys, cares more about Taichi than LIJ does because nobody was there supporting Sanada. Hiromu, yes, was on commentary, but he was only there he was only on commentary because he was commentating his leader's match the match before. So,
I mean, and there's something that we can touch on that in Stardom that we can talk about in our next show. But I don't really feel like the 4 guys were really a factor in this, but it was something.
But they were there.
Yeah, but they were there. That's the point. They were there to support, much in the same way that the United Empire does for its team, right? So yeah, it is interesting, especially at this point. I think just 4 guys still none of them had picked up a win at this point since forming this faction. I don't think, or had Kanemaru.
No, because they lost.
It's not
Doki
yet.
lost the tag team title match, and Taichi
Yeah,
lost to
it's in the later
Will
matches
Ospreay.
that we have, later shows that we have to talk about on NJPW where they finally pick up a win. But at this point, they haven't picked up a win.
Yeah,
and it's disappointing.
These two killed it in the ring to me. These two. Okay, Taichi walking out of the way of the plancha, Samoa Joe style, just like stepping to the side and just letting Sanada hit the floor. I was just like, God damn, that guy's the attitude on Taichi is absolutely phenomenal. I love this guy. Just then with the Kawada kicks to the face of DDTing him on the floor, but then later on Sanada coming and pile driving Taichi on the exposed floor. Dude, it was this whole thing was just crazy. The chop battles that these two went at in this, and it's absolutely insane. Dude, Taichi with that huge lariat and then that backdrop, dangerous backdrop. Like the whole match was just an absolute tremendous technical masterpiece. And then, dude, Sanada hitting a Black Mephisto for like that 2.9 on Taichi towards the end.
Yep.
Oh, but then he pulls out a brand new finisher, this like spin out DDT thing. The only person I remember seeing do this was Velveteen Dream back in when he was on NXT. He did the very similar move. He pulled the guy forward and then spun out into the DDT. And Sanada pulling that move out, absolutely phenomenal, way better than Dream ever did it, and gets the win. I was really surprised. I thought Taichi was going to win this one.
Yeah, based on how the beginning was going, especially the first part of this match was just Taichi beating the holy hecking crap out of Sanada and then asking him why. What are you doing? Why are you where are you here? What are you fighting me for? You know, that was almost like the kind of little nudge that Sanada needed to kind of light that fire under his booty hole and get up and do something. Yeah, once these guys got underway, it was absolute fire. This was the match that I wanted Sanada to have with Okada when he was facing him in the G1. Like this match was absolute fire. But the show of respect at the end of this match was what had me in the feels. Probably because, I'm a lady and I'm hormonal, but I was just like, no, look at them being so sweet and just cheering each other on and go get him, Tiger. Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. I think this would actually be one of those matches that you could be like, JR, this was a slobber knocker. These guys were incredible.
These guys had an incredible match, like absolutely phenomenal. But before we move